early morning situation for them, and it really didn't look like they showed up to play at all. Of course, we are into the playoff stage, so they have got to try and break back, but this is their map choice, a map where they have a 70% win rate with a hell of a lot of maps played, so I'm feeling good for Endpoint in this one, Alex.
Yeah, just need to see those players step on up, which I'm sure they will be able to as we head into Inferno. Kinky playing at the back of the bomb site. Crucial's able to take him down, and Sviat has to drop off that position. He ends up falling through the smoke anyway. Krad's looking to see what he can do, and he gets a couple of kills back. That bomb still hasn't been planted either, but Hard Legion just continue to fight, and Krad and Rage are both low on health.
This is a position they should never really get out of. Crucial's got to be careful, but Max is going to take the initiative and double up his kills, leaving just Rage alone, and Surreal will put him to the dirt. So again, it's a strong start for Endpoint. They're going to take themselves the pistol round, of course. You can expect the Force Buy to come in this round, mainly because on a map like Inferno, you really want to make sure that you do have all that extra utility when you do go into a first round buy, or a first buy round, I should say. And in this position, I'm actually quite interested by the purchase. Now, I'm a big fan of double scouts, but I don't know about you, but I wouldn't say Inferno is a map that I would particularly pick them on. I think like a Train, a Dust 2, pretty much any other map, it makes more sense than here.
Yeah, you can get this nice peek down mid at least, but, well, it's not so nice this time. Crucial is there and looking much sharper at the start of this one with a nice headshot. Yeah, and that second scout was just playing back on B, which I don't think is going to be too successful. As long as Endpoint just smoke off coffins, I don't know what the scout can really do at that point. But Hard Legion are going a bit more aggressive, especially over on Banana. Kinky's also hanging around on short, looking for a way back into this round. But Endpoint have taken that top mid control they were looking for, and the response from Hard Legion is a full-on rotate. They're taking a big gamble to try and win this one.
Yeah, the right call to make. You've got to take risks in rounds where you have a huge disadvantage. Sviat looking to try and hold on to the cross. I do wonder if Endpoint are going to commit to this, though. They've seen a lot of grenades fall. They've spotted a couple of players as well. And, well, it's a chance for Robin to make a decent amount of cash, but ultimately has its risks behind it. They're going to go pushing through. Forrester quickly disabled within the site, and as Mighty Max closes out another, this round looks all too easy, leaving Krad and Sviat probably just to try and save what they've got. So low on HP, not worth really fighting.
Yeah, at least they got players in positions to try and stack the site. They gave themselves their best chance to try and get some kills, but Endpoint don't even want to let these guns be saved. Crucial hunting with the AK. This feels somewhat unnecessary, in all honesty. He should just be waiting for backup hit. And the players with the SMGs will begin to lead the charge. Robin with an easy kill against the low health Sviat. And Krad is the last man alive, which isn't the case often for Hard Legion, but I don't think he's going to be alive much longer. Maybe he is, because he's got those kills, and Crucial is not going to be in a position to get him in time. So Krad somehow gets away with the scalp.
Yeah, not really sure how, and I don't think they lost any major weaponry there, so it's not the end of the world. No, yeah, as you can see, it's a UMP and a MAC-10. So really for Thomas and Robin, it's not too much of an issue. And now we get to just basically witness this one scout trying to do some extra damage. He actually invests into some Kevlar. And again, we talk about how you like to see all that extra money saved and brought forward and basically invested into extra utility. I don't really think it was necessary for him to buy Kevlar. I think in these situations, if you do miss a shot, the SMGs will close you down so fast that it's probably going to make little to no difference. But I guess what he's really lost is just the extra cash he made.
You're going to get used to this water wheel, Tom. Anytime there's a timeout, we have a look at this water wheel. Dinko and I named it the water wheel of death at one point, I think. I don't know why. I don't remember. The thing that confuses me is why is the water splashing up on that water wheel?
Magic.
It's magic, okay.
Magic water wheel.
Valve magic. And we are magically getting back underway into this game. Krad with that scout, like you were saying. I don't think he needed to buy the Kevlar, but he got baited into it by saving that scout. He's still got a fair amount of money, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Over on the Endpoint side of things, a couple of UMPs. Ooh, and a nade that has done a good bit of damage into the apartments. Forrester on a single point of health. Shouldn't be getting anything done here. Robin doesn't clear it. Okay, that was uncomfortable, but he gets the kill he was looking for. That's the main thing that matters.
To be honest, that's how you really kill someone. You just look into their eyes and, well, hope that they have a heart attack, I guess. Crad, at this point, I honestly don't understand how he's still alive. He's hit another tag, and this is starting to get a little bit dicey. Again, I don't really feel like Endpoint are probing too much into the other side of the map, but I like the fact that this time I think they've made the realization that chances are, again, there's going to be a stack in play and already spotting multiple players. The issue is, Hard Legion have realized their realization and rotated back to B.
Lots of realizing going on, Tom. Oh, and Crad has landed another shot with the scout, so a couple of players softened up now on the Endpoint side. There's potential here for Hard Legion to land some shots, but the smokes right now are locking them out, and wow, 2 kills in quick succession for Endpoint. That should put this round to bed. Crad is just continuing to look for some luck, but Lady Luck is not on his side right now. He's getting close on some of these onto Robin, but really it's all about just getting kills here. The round is over. Hard Legion just looking for some frags, and Endpoint will be up to a 3-0 lead. I don't think Crad needs to save the scout. I suppose he has the Kevlar, which could be valuable, and another tag for Crad, but still no kills. That's a bit sad. Sad for Crad.
Yeah, that's a hell of a lot of damage done. You're looking at about the 280 damage, something of the sort, and none of those players.
He doesn't even get the assist on that one.
Yeah, that's interesting, actually. Well, Rage is going to go down. It doesn't really matter. The bomb takes a kill. Actually has more kills than the majority of the players on Hard Legion at the moment, but let's ignore that, and we're back with the wheel again.
Here we go. We get a look at the Endpoint guys who have 4 AKs into this round, keeping just the 1 UMP. Rage has got that AWP again. We'll see if he continues to be more active across the map, be more involved in the action as he was over on Dust 2. I think on Dust 2, it was really towards the end of the game, though, where he started to show confidence when his team were already winning. So I want to see if that's going to happen when they've lost these early rounds.
A hell of a lot of nades expended towards Banana. Of course, that's pretty much the classic utility spam. Crad saw a ghost, but there were players around the angle at least. We are just going to see further utility being expended, but not really going to do any damage. In fact, Thomas has just been able to push up and kill off Crad, and maybe a little bit too aggressive, especially considering where the rest of his teammates were. I'm a little bit confused as to why he was still solo. Like, if you're going to take that position, at least take it properly. Instead, he's going to fall. The only man to really do any damage so far for side of Hard Legion, and a fairly reduced defense on this A side is going to make things relatively awkward. It's still going to be the kill coming up for Rage. He's managed to at least hold them back a little bit. I think he knows in this scenario he needs to be proactive. He gets the second, but there's the trade, and those 2 kills, although fantastic, not enough, because they've completely given up the A side. Sviat trying to rotate in, going to throw down a counter smoke. I like it, gives him some space to push through, and finds a kill. Kinky as well. A little bit of luck that's gone a long way. And this leaves Surreal 1v2 to try and keep this streak going for Endpoint.
Oh, there's a gap in the smoke, but he hasn't seen either of those players, both positioned on long. Surreal will now spot them, and he gets that first, but Kinky's there for the instant trade. When you get the X-ray off, you see just how quick some of these players are. I barely even saw that man as the smoke faded, but Surreal certainly did. Unfortunately, with 2 players against him, there's only so much he can do. And Rage's AWPing did actually come into effect here. These 2 shots, I like how he's actually trying to fight for this position. First kill while blind, but then this is what we didn't see enough of previously, is this re-aggression into the angle. Even though he didn't have any support, he knew he needed to get at least a second kill to really give his team a chance. And you see the odds over on Unicorn currently edged in favor of Hard Legion here. I believe that is off the back of that dominant first map victory.
Yeah, not overly surprised at the change, even though we are going into Endpoint's map. Now we are going to witness, again, some aggression, and it needs to be in this round from Rage. Like, you just look at the purchase that's currently up for Hard Legion. There's 3 SMGs. I think they almost need to try and challenge for Banana, and Thomas is going to get that entry onto Crad once again. 2 rounds in a row, we've seen the same battle and the same result. And again, this was something I mentioned previously, that it does seem like Crad is very one-dimensional. It's aggression or bust, and well, this time it was bust.
Especially if you're going to be playing Banana on the CT side and you just stick around for too long, it's a position where you can easily get caught out. That's always been a concern for me with Hard Legion's Inferno, is Crad on Banana. He can either completely take over that position and take away a whole half of the map for Endpoint, or he can just die there every round, it seems. And so far it's been more of the latter. But here comes the A play, and again, Rage has to solo hold this site, and it's not going to happen for him. Surreal gets that kill onto Rage, and this time round, there's no way in hell Hard Legion are winning this one. They're going to have to save. And they've only got 2 MP9s on 2 of their players. I think Crad on Banana died with a better weapon, didn't he? Or did he not?
I think they had 3. They had 3 MP9s.
Fair enough.
The only other gun was the AWP.
Right.
I don't think they're going to be able to get that one back. So.
No.
Yeah, this was sort of the problem. Like, the last round, they took a big risk. Like, the 3 players ended up on B. It was a retake that eventually went their way, but because of their financial state, they're now left in a position where they have to save, and even going into the next round, it's not going to be a particularly pretty buy, because although the loss bonus was built up, that 1 win reduces it at least enough that Endpoint should be in a relatively good state here, and looking good on their map choice.
Yeah, I'm glad they got off to a good start here as well, because the real worry is when they lose the pistol, if they were to lose the pistol and just continue to lose rounds, that you just get flashbacks to that Dust 2 game and just never have anyone show up. But Endpoint have showed up early. Hard Legion the ones who are going to have to fight back here on Inferno. See what these MP9s decide to do. They've got a fair few nades, so if they want to fight for Banana, that's an option for them. Currently, though, the players who have saved the guns for Hard Legion are more focused on the A side of the map. They've got Forrester and Kinky both on the A side of things. Just Sviat with the MP9 over on B, alongside Krad's USP. And, I mean, that's pretty crazy from Krad, I'm going to be honest. He's got a USP.
Yeah, I guess you could say he was going for an information peak, but when you make the same push every single round, I think that it's going to be very easy for Endpoint to start to predict this man.
I mean, you get information.
Yeah, but the thing is, especially on this map, I feel like it's one where, again, aggression on the CT side it kind of sucks. It's the same as Dust 2. Like, you're so predictable at this point, there's not many avenues that you can really take aggression, so you just have to be connecting your shots. And, well, speaking of that, Crucial has missed a couple. Rage has actually found a kill onto Robin as well, which will net him now an AK. Sure, he doesn't have any armor behind it, but this is already getting a little bit too close for comfort, especially considering what's invested into this round, especially considering they had a 3-man advantage. Now Tomasetti taking a relatively big risk. He's pushing in on his own. He's hoping that somebody's going to peek him instead, but it's very passive, and I like this from Hard Legion. Just waiting back, not giving them anything. The smoke's going to fall. Now, we've seen them pre-fire the boost before, but this time they actually don't. However, the player, I think, must have dropped off. I'm not sure what happened there. It looked all too easy for Forrester to get a kill. Instead, well, he does find one, but it's a little bit too late. The site has been taken. Forrester actually gets the bomb down through the smoke, and there's only 10 seconds left on the clock. Forrester might have just done enough as the smoke now fades. Surreal has to try and get this bomb down, and if he can do it again, he's just going to spam. This time it's not quite as clean, though, so the bomb is going to be planted, and Forrester, he's left in a 1v2. Now with this after plant position, both players on the T side are low, so he is in with a chance, but he needs to take a big risk here, and he's just made so much sound. It's almost too easy now for Endpoint to know where he is, but he still manages that first kill, and Crucial with an AWP. Definitely not the ideal weapon to fight this one from. Forrester looking to try and wrap back in, just spamming the bullets away, but Crucial will hit the shot. It's 5-1 for Endpoint, but that was far too close.
Yeah, Forrester lining up that spam to begin with was a good way to deny the bomb plant. And then he put down the defensive smoke on Coffins himself. He smoked off Coffins, I think, to try and go for that spam again, to try and deny the bomb plant a second time round. And there was that first fight to begin with, where Forrester even got the AK in the first place. Thomas got caught on the solo aggression. There's that spam through I was talking about. And if he could have landed that a second time round, he almost certainly would have won his team the round. But it comes close, and Crucial can close it out for Endpoint. They keep on going with a 5-1 lead. Here comes the gun round for Hard Legion, though. A bit of early nade damage from Endpoint. I think Endpoint are probably just going to keep on going for these nades at top banana, considering how Hard Legion have been playing so far. And they get a bit of damage from it this time. But Crad not fighting for banana this time out. Hard Legion holding more passively.
He's not fighting for it yet.
Not yet.
I wouldn't be surprised if we do see him re-aggress. I don't actually have much utility left already on the CT side of B. Singular smoke and incendiary as well for Crad, and elsewhere the T's are throwing somewhat of an execution in towards the A side just to try and gain some middle control, maybe bait a rotation, but as of right now, Hard Legion haven't budged. Just waiting patiently. Actually going to throw a nade over the top. Maybe try and clear someone off the boost spot around the corner, but the fact is this is all an elaborate ruse as they are going to go rotating back. I like this. They almost fake the smokes initially. The problem is the CT side are firmly favoring this A side. 4 players already in this direction, ready and waiting for the push to come in.
Ooh, Crad, the first to fall in another round, and with Endpoint finding 2 clean entries onto the A site, these 2 CTs are going to have to step up. Forrester's got that first man. Rage is looking for a shot through the smoke, but now he's alone. He goes aggressive. He tries to find a fight that's favorable. Unfortunately, he finds a P250 shot in his head. Sviat rotating over, but he is late to the party, and he is already dead.
That's just a silly peak. Like, especially at this point with Endpoint having so much money. What, you get 1 kill and then you run away with a smile on your face? That was a meaningless fight to take for Sviat, and I don't know, maybe he thought there was some miracle world where he drops the bomb and wins the round, looks like a hero. Instead, just throwing a gun away. And Endpoint, they're looking solid on this T side. And again, it's like, this is a map where I'm definitely not anywhere near as confident for Hard Legion. I think their Dust 2 looked good, especially on the T side, but their CT sides have always been a bit of a question for me. Didn't really have to see it in the last map as they got themselves the pistol. And is that 4 or 5 rounds in a row where Crad has been the first person to die?
Ooh, at least 4, I'm going to say. Not 100% sure, but it's not been a good game for Crad so far, that's for sure. And this is the duality of Crad to an extent. That Dust 2 game, he was great. He was making things happen. Here on Inferno, it has been the opposite. Endpoint have been cruising right now. 6-1 on the board, should be a 7th as well, because they've got this B site. They keep on putting down this covering fire. Robin's going to run out of bullets if he's not careful with how much he's spamming that smoke. And Endpoint's still yet to get that bomb planted. Taking their time. Dude, Robin's actually down to like 10 bullets left in this AK. 20 bullets left in this AK now. That's impressive.
Well, it only takes 1. Actually, it looks like they're going to try and fall back and save their weaponry. I'm quite surprised they're not sticking around to try and help Sviat get out of here with the AK. A little bit of support probably would have gone a long way, because his survival chances from this position are slim to none. And unless his teammates somewhat manage a massive distraction and keep some guns away, there's not much of a chance of getting away. He should now be able to just fade out of the round. So thankfully, they got a little bit lucky that they went towards Banana.
What?
Why?
Hmm.
Why?
They've still got money, Tom. They still have money. It's not the end of the world.
He's thrown away a gun 2 rounds in a row.
Look, he's got money. He's just balling.
Oh, is he going to buy himself an AK?
He's not going to buy himself an
'cause
AK,
he
but he's
can't.
just flexing on them, Tom. 7-1 down and flexing on them. Maybe not the
Why
best
has he
idea.
done that? The odds have gone back, of course.
After seeing that from Sviat, people are not having faith.
Yeah, oh, it's understandable. And, of course, I think you get a daily bet with Starladder as well if you go to their website. Get a free $10 bonus, not bad. So I think it's worth checking out. I think you get an extra deposit bonus as well.
Crad the first to die again, by the way. Just to anyone keeping track at home.
Yeah, so can someone start doing the numbers for us? Because I actually can't count past 5, so I'm going to need someone to tweet that at me, and maybe I'll just not pay attention for some of these rounds. But yeah, that has been pretty atrocious. Like, I've said it even at the beginning of the last game, even when he was playing well, I was like, he's one of those players, he doesn't have a second gear. It is one thing, and if it doesn't work, he will be their worst player. And as of right now, he is their worst player. Like, he started off very well with the scout, so maybe the statistics won't quite show that as of right now, but the fact that they're losing a man every single time on the B site, it's just making things awkward. They've currently stacked 4 on A. They've just had to take an all-in risk, and even when they did this last time, it did not work. Endpoint were doing well enough to be able to pick them apart. Now this re-aggression, nice shot from Rage. He's definitely been one of the sort of candles that you can see from a distance, the light shining at the end of the tunnel, and well, that is a nice dunk even to close it out. So they are going to take their second round on the board, this time a little bit cleaner as well, and even picking up a secondary AWP, which, of course, is going to go to Crad, and now he's going to be even more aggressive. I'm not a fan.
We're already hearing Tom. So do you prefer, because I know you don't like watching Nemiga play, do you prefer Nemiga in comparison to
now.
Crad?
To be honest, at least their aggression is calculated. Like, they'll do it as a team.
Exactly.
And although, like, I think they do need to adapt to a point where they have more levels. At least they do that well together. Whereas a lot of this is just one... Oh, that's so risky. The flashbang does actually work, so they get the trade kill. That's not as bad. At least they did it together, I guess. But a 1-for-1 trade is better for the T's, especially on a map like Inferno, where you normally take quite a lot of gambles. So, yeah, this leaves them in a 2-for-2, or maybe even a 3-for-1. That shot from Crucial was really nice. A quick flick around the corner, and he's going to open things up once again. Continues to push, and Forrester is finally going to step up onto the board, but the trading has been phenomenal from Endpoint. So quick to just pick apart this CT side, so quick to make sure that no kill is given as an advantage, and well, now it's left in a 3-on-2 after plant situation. The only problem is Max is holding for a flank that's already got past him. I'm not sure how that's happened. I think they must have wrapped around from the arch side instead. So he's realized no one's coming from that direction, but there is still a player in mid.
The time is just going to be such a big problem here for Hard Legion. Sviat gets one quick headshot. They're smoking the bomb. They might try and just make some magic happen, but I don't think it's going to be going their way. Endpoint land those kills at the end there. And if Hard Legion had saved those 2 guns, you could definitely make a claim for them buying into this next round. I think that may have been the safer call, but they decided to take a risk, which did not work out for them. You can kind of understand why they want to win rounds, considering how far behind they are, but it leaves them in a pretty poor position ahead of this one. Probably going to have to be another half buy ahead of this round. And it looks like the timer has stopped counting down, so I assume we have a pause on our hands.
Yeah, I'm just wondering at this point if we can just talk to both teams and be like, can we just head to map 3 and just accept that this is a best of 1 on the 3rd map? Because
wow,
this has been 2 of the most dominant maps I think I've ever seen, and I don't see this stopping. I don't want to just harp on Hard Legion the same way in the last map. You don't just want to harp on Endpoint, but the fact is that this is just not good enough. Like, especially when like Rage has not been bad. Like, you look across the damage on some of the players, and Sviat's actually surprisingly doing quite well considering some of the situations we've been in. The problem is, again, Hard Legion, their tactical depth just seems to be so low, so that if those individual players aren't performing, if they're getting picked apart, like Forrester's not having a particularly good game, Crad is, since I think those, like, the scout kills and the pistol kills he managed to get, he has had 1 kill, I believe, and a lot of deaths. Are we going to make it a 6th? Oh, yep, there we go. He's still technically the first to die, although Robin did also kill Crucial, so that's not bad. So I think we're now up to, it's not in a row, so he wasn't the first to die in the last round, but it is still 6 deaths he has had first, which, wow, that's ridiculous.
Wow. There he is. The sad eyes of Crad. Yeah, apparently. Oh,
I think that was Crucial, though.
May have been. Yeah, you're right. Well, Kinky's got a kill on the edge of that smoke, but it's not going to make a difference. Endpoint winning another round, this time on the B side of the map. Here comes the buy for Hard Legion. They've gone for double AWPs on occasion. Crad will pick up that secondary AWP again. I think the most surprising thing here is Hard Legion have just been fully rotating in some of these rounds. And shout out to Hellcase, the sponsors of this tournament. You can use the code SLTV15 for a 15% refill bonus, which is always nice to have. And heading back into the action, like we were saying, Crad on that secondary AWP will be going over to Banana. They've got 3 players stacked on B, but they're not playing too aggressively.
He's cheating just like Leaf was. Oh, wait, never mind.
Oh.
Oh, God. Clearly bullying kids is fun. Either way, moving on, we are going to be getting into round number 12. Sviat died first this time. Way, it wasn't Crad, but even still, the CT side have managed a couple of trades back in return. It's going to be Mighty Max scurrying back towards mid. Crucial clearly wanting to take the fight and sick. Why have you done that? Let's be real. At this point, what is Crad doing? Like, it just walks out, peeks Banana, no flash, nothing, just like, yeah, I got this one, lads. Let me take it from here.
Yeah, could have sat back with the man advantage, but ended up going for a fight which didn't work this time. That's the nice way of putting it. Yeah, it's just percentage Counter-Strike at the end of the day. Maybe Crad wins that fight some of the time, but it's not a fight that they needed to take, because now in a 3v3, you're really uncomfortable on the CT side. Look at the minimap. Look at where Forrester is. He's alone on A, having to sit all the way back. The information just isn't there, but the time is low. 25 seconds for Endpoint. They'll start to make some noise as they move into A, but with Forrester being so far back, he's not going to get this information for a while. And there's no rotate.
There's no rotation, it's left all onto him, and he's completely blind. Still surviving, at least for a moment, but that will be a plant for Endpoint. I have to say, I've been thoroughly impressed with how they've been playing this T side. The fact that they're so comfortable playing late into the round is something that you don't really see that often from like mid-level teams, where they're not quite in the tier 1 to fight into the last 10, 15 seconds, still have the execute, still have the perfect flashbang, and leave Forrester with no chance. Like, that's a position where you see a lot of teams lose a round, where he gets the 1 kill onto the bomb player, or even just slows you down enough. But they couldn't have played that better, if you ask me. So props to Endpoint. They're definitely looking fantastic when it comes to the T side of Inferno. And yeah, it's going to be a save on a double AWP. There's a part of me that hopes that they don't give it back to Crad, because it just seems like a waste. Like, you have to bear in mind, actually, I said that maybe he had 1 kill. He has had 0 kills since he got the initial 4 that he had with the scout.
It's not great.
No, he was 4-1, and now he's 4-11.
Yeah, it's been a rough stretch for Crad, who has again been given that AWP. Sviat doesn't seem to have a weapon. There we go, the MP9 bought at the last second. And Rage over on A has been landing some shots. Again, it's this same situation, but this time he's going to peek into second mid, where the flashbangs completely force him away. At least he gets away with his life, though. And look at this rotation from Hard Legion. This is madness. They are going to stick around with at least 1 player on the B site, thankfully, because Endpoint are still just defaulting across the map, as they have been for the most part. And generally, they've been getting those kills on Banana, which I think you do have to give Endpoint credit for. They found that weakness, and Hard Legion, this just all feels very gambly to me on this CT side. It's like they're just trying to see if they can guess the right site.
This is one of the weirdest CT Infernos I think I've ever seen. Like, one round is hyper-aggression, the next one you're not going for any information peaks, and you're trying to, well, at one point they were playing a 5-0 in this round. This is very peculiar. The problem is, even just the smoke alone kind of almost has to bait a rotation, because Krad's not in a position where he can actually fight for this. He actually went straight through the smoke and has spotted nothing, and now they're gambling back. So I just want to put that into perspective. There are now 3 players on B after Endpoint through 1 smoke. 1 smoke, that's all it took to bait half the team to rotate across to the other side of the map. And now they're just probing into A. This is ridiculous. Mighty Max is going to catch another, leaving just Rage on the site. The rotations are so far behind because of that dedication, and now he's missing his shots as well. This has been an atrocious round. Good work for Endpoint to bait them into that rotation, I guess, but hey, I reckon if I can throw that 1 smoke, that's so poor. I can't believe that worked.
You got a good CT lineup, Tom? You know it?
Sure.
Yeah.
I actually can't believe that caused a rotation.
I mean, it had to. Even with Crad pushing through the smoke, right, they had to do something. With him being solo holding B with the AWP. Endpoint are just... I was going to say one step ahead, but it feels like Endpoint are 5 steps ahead in all these rounds, in all honesty. They just have Hard Legion rotating all over the place right now. They have Hard Legion on the ropes with an 11-2 lead. And the thing I like for Endpoint is that they're not ever really switching it up and going for fast plays. They've realized that the slow defaulting is going to work. They can just sell those fakes across the board. But finally, something changing for Hard Legion. Rage got that initial kill and then went back for a bit more. Unfortunately, the greed cost him his life. Going back for seconds ends up being a mistake, and Thomas isn't ready for Kinky, who's pushed all the way down Banana. So Hard Legion getting some good information, getting some good fights to go their way early. Crad caught with a nade in his hands, though, and that opens up this round for Endpoint. Forrester's alone on A. Ooh, he slipped through the cracks, but he's let them have the bomb site. No kit on the Hard Legion side either, which is a concern because this bomb is about to be planted. They're going to have to be pretty quick on this retake now that Max has got that bomb down.
3-on-3, Forrester. He should have a free kill here. The nade. Oh,
Wow.
It's not quite going to do enough. Robin surviving on just 2 HP, and without a kit in this scenario, it's going to be still a tough retake for Hard Legion. X utility being expended, and whilst Sviat's just going to go for the YOLO push straight through the smoke, the flash actually catching him completely blind. And although they are picking these players apart, they're running out of time, and Max knows it. He's just going to wait within the site. Robin's doing all of the work. This was a man who survived on just 2 HP moments ago, gets 2 kills, and Mighty Max, he will close it out. Small chance of survival, but let's be real, at this point, Endpoint don't care. They have so much money to buy into this next round, and it's the last of the half.
Yeah, props to Max as well, who has been stepping up and having a really good game. This is where Crag got caught with the nade out, which I don't think he needed to switch to the nade. Robin ends up hunting him down, and then Robin doing some good work at the end of the round to close it out from that pit position, just going back and forth between those angles. But yeah, Mighty Max top of the board for Endpoint right now with 15 kills. I think he's been doing a lot of that work on Banana at the start of these rounds. Forrester flying through the apartments, gets that opener with some flash assistance, but Surreal lands a headshot in reply. Quick trade over at second mid, and as we've said previously, those 1-for-1 trades are always going to be beneficial for the T side here on Inferno.
Yeah, I will say the extra dink he hits, like, at least makes it a little bit more interesting. I think at this point, they've just realized that they have to just get aggressive. Like, all of their setups just seem to be awful. And now Rage, he's just been owned. Thomas with a fantastic headshot opens up once again. Smoke, at least initially, wasn't great. And actually, the second one isn't either. There's another gap in it. Kinky just trying to find a gap through, and instead he's taken down by Crucial, who's now watching for any sort of flank around through middle. This round started okay, but it's all fallen apart for Hard Legion, as has pretty much every single round within this half. Well, I'm just watching to see if we can do anything here. Clearing out Crucial, but again, just not missing his shots. A complete polar opposite to what we saw on the last map, and an even more dominating half than we saw previously.
Yeah, very one-sided in favor of Endpoint. 13-2 at the half. Pretty much all their players showing up. Robin down there at 7 kills, but he's not been needed, and he's been a lot of the times leading the way. You can see he's got the most deaths, so he's oftentimes just been traded out. I will say Rage has continued to impress at times when he's been given the ability to try and take fights, but a lot of the time he was alone on A, it felt like. And a lot of the time it felt like he never really got to get involved in some rounds, even though he was able to land some shots. A lot of the rounds he didn't get to have much of an impact, and it wasn't really because of him, it was because his teammates were dying around him so early. So at least Rage is still playing well for Hard Legion, but that is a small plus at this point considering the scoreline. Endpoint, if they win this pistol, they've basically got this one in the bag, and they are rushing down mid. No time to waste.
Yeah, it kind of seems like the T's were ready for this, though. They've got multiple players just passively waiting. It makes things very awkward for Endpoint with their positions. They're still going to get the opening pick, and actually the T's are just going to make the option to rotate, but the bomb's the last man. that could be a real problem. They're taking control. Thomas was excellent in their first CT pistol, but he's not going to be able to take this one home. Robin knows they're the man close, but Crad is going to make it work on the T side once again. It seems to be where he flourishes, but even still, it is going to end up in a 3v3 situation. The bomb's still got quite a lot of ground to make to actually get onto the site, and because of that, by the time the retake actually begins, the chances are the smoke will have faded. Sviat is going to spot one over the top, and we still haven't seen the bomb actually cross to the site. It will finally make it, but at this point, the smoke has faded. This is going to give them a chance to basically start retaking as the bomb goes down. So much time to play with. Nice shot from Rage once again. The smoke looking to try and give a little bit of extra space, and Sviat over the top is going to help Forrester close it out. It will be a third round onto the ball for Hard Legion, a crucial pistol for them to win, but you can almost bet there's going to be an instant force buy coming out from Endpoint.
Wow, a Nova for Thomas. Not a gun we see too often. Those odds over on Unicorn still favoring Endpoint. Well, now favoring Endpoint, as they are the ones doing work here. And did you know, Tom, CSGO lovers are getting free bonus cash over at Unicorn. You can get $80 to play when you deposit just $20 during the StarLadder Hellcase Cup. Check out Unicorn for that. For now, though, we'll check out this buy for Endpoint. It's that Nova for Thomas that I was talking about, which will be playing close at top mid. This stack is always a bit dangerous to walk into. Oh, Forrester.
Go on.
Okay.
No, why have you looked away then?
I still think the Nova should be getting a kill at that range.
Yeah, actually, it got stolen.
Yeah.
Didn't even get the kill, but he
got like 90 damage.
He got the AK. He got the AK. That's the most important thing. Now the push is going to start coming in the other direction. For Max, he needs to get a kill. That's the main goal, or at least delay them as long as he possibly can. Chances are he's just going to hide. Now they haven't Molotoved out the back corner. In fact, he's going to have a free chance to peek, and Kinky's gone down. It will be an eventual trade, but this is allowed for the rotation, and because that AK has gone into enemy hands, there is a real chance here for Endpoint to take this one back. It would be as brutal as it gets financially for Hard Legion. Rage, though, does just about get the kill onto Thomas, but the AK's quickly picked back up. It is a revolving door of hands on that gun. And they've got to get the bomb down. Now, there's no reason for them to peek, but it doesn't seem to matter. Crucial's going to get the kill, and Robin will close it out. A great turnaround. Robin with a triple. You spoke about how he's not necessarily had the best fragging game, but we've now seen 2 rounds from him that were very high impact for Endpoint. And while at this point, they've got to force. Hard Legion have to try and bring this one back with just pistols.
Yeah, not much else they can do. Not many other options at this point. There's that slow-mo shot from Crucial, the Deeg sounding very nice in slow motion. Shoots out the flower pot as well. A bit rude to start the round, but when you're 14-3 up, you can have a bit of fun. Hard Legion just looking for a way in here with these Deegs. They'll be looking for headshots. Not many nades to work with either, so it's not like they can go for a smoke exec on B or A, but they can find a fight over at Banana, where Sviat is able to spam onto Thomas. Mighty Max was much further behind, trying to use some assistive utility, but that doesn't really come into play. And Sviat will get his team a nice man advantage to start this round. That's exactly what Hard Legion needed.
Yeah, and again, because of that, we're actually going to see Mighty Max in a position where if they do go towards the B site, he's going to have a hell of a lot to do. And, well, we know how effective these pistols can be. I think I've spotted Crad, but he's more of the lurker in this position as they are going to go pushing in that direction. Mighty Max is actually going to commit to the peak. That's so risky. And because of it, he's going to go down. Robin just trying to catch him on the cross, but the fact is the T's haven't pushed yet, and Crucial's rotation is just waited for by Crad. It's looking like we're going to go back and forth as the CT side just looking to try and save some of their weaponry, and it will be a fourth, or very likely be a fourth, coming up for Hard Legion.
Yeah, the problem with Thomas pushing Banana and dying there is that Mighty Max used his nades to try and help Thomas in the first place. So then Max has no utility left to try and delay on the B-bomb site. And that's a real issue, because he feels like he has to go for the fight there. He wants to try and fight for the site. He wants to try and slow them down, because you know that playing retake on B is very difficult. But unfortunately, as soon as he falls, the round goes with him. Endpoint unable to win this one. Surreal looking to stick with this MP9 into the next round. Still not a massive worry for Endpoint. They're going to be 14-4 up. They're going to be closing out this map more than likely, considering the score and considering how they've played so far. We know that their Inferno is very solid. And, ooh, not the best fight for Surreal at the end. Their Rage takes him away. Hard Legion up to a 4th round on the board, and Endpoint have to go for another one of these 4 spies.
Yeah, it's one of those spots again where it's basically worth it for Endpoint. If they lose this round, take an eco, and they'll be able to buy in the next one anyway, so it's not too much of a problem. And if they can win this one again, they'd be in a position where they could basically just close out the match. But, well, we thought that last time, and the pistols were still enough. And this time, Hard Legion even have a little bit of extra cash to spare. Again, a bit of a gamble taken in this round from Endpoint. They're going to stack onto the B site with 3 players ready and waiting, and then a little bit more of a passive stance, just trying to take some shoulder peeks, hear any sound around in the apartments, but ultimately for now, it's Hard Legion just in their default, watching for any aggression and trying to take Banana.
Ooh, flash lands right on Kinky's vision. He's able to get away safely though, making sure to play an angle where he has cover. Endpoint not fully pushing onto Banana. They put that smoke down, but they're going to rotate plenty of players over to this A side of the map, trying to get the right read on the situation. Sadly, it looks like Hard Legion will be working their way up Banana, so Mighty Max is in a similar position where solo holding B here is going to be very, very difficult. He at least has a smoke, and that smoke will slow things down significantly. Hard Legion probably won't want to push through that, especially knowing that there's probably pistols on the other side. There are a couple of players sitting right next to this smoke, though, so maybe Hard Legion will just try and push through this. They all spam through to clear out that first angle, and here comes Max spamming into the back lines. Robin gets one of his own. Robin makes it a second, and Endpoint could be on to win with the pistols again. Forrester and Rage both combining for kills back, and they will try and get this bomb down. That CT smoke not in play, but it actually favors Forrester, who brings it back to a 2v2.
Still very much possible for both sides. Forrester trying to play on the edge. He's going to get another one with the Deeg, and the nade even finishes off the final. Forrester saves them from potentially an embarrassing round coming up off the back of the pistols, and now it leaves, unfortunately, Endpoint in a position where they have to take an eco. Even still, Surreal's actually going to invest some extra cash here. Now, they will have 2,400 into the next round, but it means that there's still going to be some vulnerabilities, some pieces missing, some weaknesses for the finances of this Endpoint side going into the next. Forrester clearly feeling a little bit confident in his Deagle play at the moment, and I can't say I'm surprised after the last round.
Yeah, it did very well in that last one. They had to turn that round from a 2v5, which was uncomfortable, but Forrester this time putting in a shift with the AK. He's definitely stepped it up here as the game has gone on. He's up to 15 frags over on the Hard Legion side of things. And that should make this round ridiculously easy at this point. The 2 P250s that were bought by Endpoint have been removed from the round. Just 3 USPs stacked on this A site. And even if they run into this stack, Hard Legion should be able to dismantle it quite comfortably. Kinky pushing up through long. Mighty Max might be spotted, but Kinky didn't quite see him. We get the quiet before the storm because these fights are going to come through momentarily. Thomas trying to play a cheeky position, which could catch Crad out. In fact, Crad will be dealt with. The rest of the AKs, though, following up onto the site. The rifles will get the job done. Mighty Max doing a bit of damage from the back there. Some kills coming in for Endpoint, but never going to be the round win for them. This is a much better chance to do that, though. They get the guns out.
Yeah, even still, though, as I mentioned, this is one of the weaker purchases for them. No AWP just yet for Crucial, and in terms of grenades, it's not perfect. They're not in an awful spot, but they can definitely get themselves back into this round. Of course, for the Ts, well, it's pretty much win it out or bust. I'm going to go back to, again, this sort of standard default, looking to try and battle for banana control. The CTs, I imagine, are going to try and delay using a fair amount of their utility in these early stages, not really wanting to just throw everything away. Kinky making a hell of a lot of noise. That flashbang actually leaves Max completely blind, and Thomas goes for the refrag needed to win that duel and will. Even still, though, this has left them in a bit of an awkward spot in the early stages of this round, forcing a rotation towards the B site and leaving further openings on A with only 2 defenders on either side. And in fact, because of that, Crucial's actually going to take the risk, and by the looks of it, he's got it wrong.
Yeah, he's having second thoughts now, but he's out of position, assuming a CT smoke comes in, which is almost certainly going to be the case. 1 smoke for CT, 1 smoke for Ruins, and they don't even need it. Crad with 2 instant entries onto the B site. That's what Crad can offer you in some of these rounds. Crisp headshots onto the B site, and that is all Hard Legion need to win this one.
Yeah, no, I like the initial peek that was taken. A decent flashbang to set up that first kill from Kinky. And then, well, pretty much was left all onto Thomas to try and just hold the site down in his own. And that's the issue. When you do have missing utility, maybe a missing AWP for Endpoint, it makes their CT side a lot less dynamic. And Forrester, well, with the amount of cash that is currently being built up on the T side, they can take a few risks, and, well, that risk has definitely paid off. Killing off one of the remaining members, Surreal now the only man to try and save his rifle. And chances are he'll be able to, unless there's going to be somebody running and gunning around that corner.
Yeah, 1 gun saved over for Endpoint into this next one. Get a replay of that previous round, though. This is a Crad just peeking before the CT smoke blooms, and that second shot is just superb. Just simply sublime from Crad on that second one. But I like that he peeks just before the smoke blooms at CT. It is a risk, especially if you're up against an AWP, for example. But in that round, it was the full rifles, and oftentimes players are going to try and get close to that smoke to try and fight for it. So Crad there with just a cheeky little play on the timings, getting those 2 entries onto B. And that's the frustrating thing with Crad sometimes, is he shows these flashes of ability to be able to entry rounds like that. Almost similar to Yakindar in some senses. It's just that Yakindar is much more, I think, well-rounded and much more disciplined at times as a player. Yeah, sure, but you see a round like that from Crad where he gets those 2 entries and you say, wow, like if I could get this guy on a team with a good system, that could be sick. But it's just not come together for Hard Legion so far.
Yeah, I think as well he's a very T-sided player, whereas Yukinda is very good at finding holes while on the defensive side, which I think is a much harder thing to do. So I don't put him even in the same bracket. I think Yukinda is someone who could be like a top 20 player one day with how he's been performing recently and with the current team that he's in. It was mentioned by Blade that they're very difficult to play against at the moment on VP, and that's without much practice. So excited to see what they can do. Nice entries from Forrester. Crucial. At least be able to take down 1 and a second. This is already getting a little bit costly. I don't really know how he's still alive either, especially now that his teammates are rotating in, but Rage has been good at holding off any further rotations, and Thomas, well, again, he's just got to hold on to this rifle. Can't really take any risks in this round. It's just not worth it. The T-side have enough finances, and the only goal at this point for Endpoint is to win a round.
Yeah, saving that gun will be helpful to some extent. Their money should be fine, but there's no reason to go for it. The chance is so low for Thomas. So it is all about saving that rifle over. Hard Legion at least building some momentum, some success on the T side. It's just a question of whether it's come too late, and it probably has. But at least they're getting it back to a 14-8 scoreline. Even saying that, the fact that I'm saying at least they're bringing it back to 14-8 is kind of a summarization of how this game has gone so far, because that's still a pretty big difference between these two. Thomas will be allowed to save that rifle over. Crucial has plenty of money for an AWP as well. They will be getting a full buy across the board on the Endpoint side of things this time round. No missing nades. I think Crucial's missing 1 piece of utility, but it's not a big deal. This is going to be Endpoint's chance to get that round they're looking for and take themselves up to map point.
Oh, Well, we'll see if they can do it. They have started to be a little bit lackluster, but I would consider this the first proper fall buy we've actually seen out of Endpoint. So if the domination continues from Hard Legion, maybe we'll have a match on our hands. Crucial. He's been Molotoved off early, but he's still going to get aggressive and almost using this AWP as a shotgun, but a quick trade. A great flashbang from Rage gives Crad the ability to just W key through. Actually going to smoke off Robin. Trying to find a bit of a shot through the wall. At least slows them down a little bit. It allows Surreal to slightly move his position, and with a double kill coming up from him, he's one of those players which is really tough to break down around that balcony position. A whiff spray, though, from Max has given them entries back in. Surreal finally finished off as well, and somehow we've ended in a 2v2, Alex.
Yeah, coming surprisingly close, and with the sound going away, Endpoint aren't sure. They're rotating a player back to B. They might be rotating both back to B if they're not careful. Robin's sticking around, but surely they've got to realize this bomb's on A, at least once it gets planted. Rage will finally punch in the digits, and now Thomas will be pushing all the way down Banana, and those steps could be heard by Crad, who's waiting at mid this entire time. Crad's going to turn around. This should be a kill, but Thomas with the quick peek on toward him. And now Rage has got to do something here. 1v2. He's looking for this first fight. He's looking for a way into this round. Getting really aggressive here. And oh, great shot onto the first man. It's back to the 1v1. And Thomas has smoked the bomb. Rage looking to land a shot, and he gets it through the smoke while blind. Rage coming through for his team.
Yeah, that was pure instinct from him, and well, as you mentioned earlier, he's been one of the performers so far in this map. A crucial round for them, and one almost thrown away by Endpoint. Like, you have to feel that Max should have got that kill while on the flank, and realistically, we don't know how Surreal went down, but he did a very good job of actually delaying the push. So 9-14, the comeback continues after what was a dominant half, or first half I should say, from Endpoint. Thomas has invested into the best gun in the game, the XM. He's upgraded his shotgun significantly from his previous purchase, and they're going to get their 15th round because of it.
I wish I had as much faith as you, Tom. I do like the auto shotgun, though.
He needs a better skin on it, though.
That's the problem.
I would recommend the Bone Machine. That is a fantastic skin. It's one I recommend every single time. There's also one that has a alligator pun on it, which I can't remember what it's actually called.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I'm not great on auto shotgun skins.
Wow,
it's not my area of expertise.
Maybe you're not spending your time wisely enough then, Alex, right?
Apparently not. Apparently not. I'm sure if I went over to Hellcase, I might be able to get an auto shotgun skin.
Although I would say that in terms of covert skins for XMs, there aren't as many.
No.
There we go, though. Crucial in a good position. Nice shot, and no trade, even close by. And just waiting back patiently. So happy to give up that first kill. The XM looking like it might actually come into play. Now, this gun actually has a little bit more range than you might expect. You can definitely hit some wonderful shots at distance. There goes the first. That's $900 in the bank, but they might not need it. I told you, Alex, they're getting towards that round winner. 2K from Thomas with the XM. He's got my name, he's got my gun, he's got my love as well. And now it's left all on to Sviat to try and clutch this one out. A nice double, but he'd need all three. And Endpoint are going to get to 15th, as I told you at the beginning of the round.
Yeah, I think Thomas is, he's got your gun, he's got your name. I think he's got your hair as well, Tom, I'm going to be honest.
He's got long ginger hair. What do you mean?
No, yeah, he stole your hair. That's what I mean.
I was never ginger.
No?
But I wouldn't mind. Like, I'm not one of those anti-gingers. That's, you're bad people.
That's good to know.
They do have souls.
Yeah, we are all-inclusive here at the Hellcase Cup. 15-9 though, yeah, that auto shotgun stepping up. Like you said, Crad losing out at top mid earlier in the rounds. They try and go back to B thinking that's the weakness, but they didn't really get enough information at A to know that the B site was weak, and it wasn't. That was the problem. Thomas was there with the shotgun, and Surreal has already opened up this round for them. It's 4 more kills needed for Endpoint to take this map and take us to a third.
I hope somebody still got that counter going, because that was Crad dying first again. Of course, on the T side, he's entry fragger, so it's understandable. Mighty Max gonna pick off one more. Rage is waiting, but they can't do anything versus Max. killing them. He's had a very good game, 23 and 15. Sviat is hiding in the smoke. I think Max has got an inkling. I think he's thinking about it. He knows something's up. The flashbang's perfect as well. And well, Sviat, surely not. Like, there's too many. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. If he somehow wins this, I might just leave. And they are actually all going to start pushing banana. This could get interesting. However, there's a wraparound, and he doesn't even get one. Matty Max is just too good. Endpoint, they are going to get themselves the second map victory after what was a dominant T side. And although we had a quote-unquote fake comeback,